When people think of open world gaming, they tend to imagine action-adventure games and RPGs. Although these genres do dominate the open world market, there have also been a handful of fantastic racing games over the years taking place in enormous game worlds that players are free to drive around and explore. The following open world racing games on this list all struck gold with excellent driving mechanics, interesting events, and tantalizing maps that are begging to be explored. Today on Game Rant, we're looking at the best open world racing games. Most people had assumed that Ubisoft had given up on The Crew, despite the understated brilliance of the second game. Thankfully, fans were proven wrong with the release of The Crew Motorfest, which is a great title for fans of open world racing games to check out. Players explore the faithfully recreated Hawaiian island of Oahu, which makes for some exotic racing backdrops and beautiful visuals. It may not be groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination, but The Crew Motorfest is a great title with solid racing mechanics that deserves all the praise it gets. The Forza Horizon series has churned out hit after hit, and this game is no exception to this rule. These titles feature massive open worlds that are full to the brim with races, challenges, car customization, and fun stories. There's no denying that Forza Horizon 3 justifies the inclusion of a sandbox. Players love the idea of dropping into the game and just messing around with a car of their choice. The fact that many fans still consider this game to be superior to its successors, despite the massive success of Forza Horizon 4 and 5, proves how many things this game got right. BeamNG.Drive is a racing simulation game that is an absolute joy to play. Crashing a car in this game is more satisfying than frustrating because of how realistic and fun the damage mechanics of the car are. The user-made content ensures that all players will be able to sink a ton of hours into this game. BeamNG.Drive might be one of the more hardcore games on this list, but players who get into this early access title will have a great time indeed. It's a shame that Midnight Club is a series that never really stayed relevant in Rockstar's library. Their attention shifted to open-world action games with an emphasis on driving instead of a game solely focused on the art of racing. Many fans of Midnight Club are sad that this approach has been taken since one of their most beloved racing franchises isn't part of the mainstream anymore. Thankfully, there are enough games in this series that players can check out whenever they feel like they're missing out on this brilliant series. The vibe of this title is unmatched, and players who get to check this game out will enjoy one of the finest racing games they've ever laid their hands on. SnowRunner is a game that has taken the sim driving scene by storm, and many players are still baffled by how many fans this title has. Trucks are some of the slowest moving vehicles of all time, and yet any game that manages to nail their configurations and how they feel becomes so popular within a particular niche that other casual players just can't understand this craze. Of course, not everything needs to be dissected down to a T. Sometimes games just need to scratch a particular itch to endear themselves to a particular section of passionate fans. The off-roading shenanigans of SnowRunner have made it such a surprise hit. Ghost Game's first attempt at a Need for Speed game was truly an admirable effort. The amazing effort of 2015's Need for Speed is worthy of a mention in itself, as the races are a blast to get through. The main story might have been slightly cheesy, but it served as a good source of motivation to get through the races in this title. While some people felt like this title was a regression, there was one thing that Need for Speed's reboot nailed: the atmosphere. The rain-soaked streets and the night races looked absolutely spectacular and still hold up quite well. Many players forgave the faults of this title simply because of how incredible the world looked. That's all we've got for today on Game Rant. Thanks for stopping by, and happy racing.